Hello and welcome live from Colombo, and I have great news which you can see right behind me. Nice blue skies. The first time I'm seeing such clear weather here in Colombo in the last 3 days that I've been here. So that's some great news after 48 hours or even more than that of rain pelting down here in Colombo. In fact, much more than that. The week before that was even worse when I was not here. For the first time in 3 days that I've been here, I can see blue skies. All I was seeing was grey clouds. Sometime it was raining, sometime it wasn't. But it's nice to see that the sun is out, and the sun has been out since morning today. So from 8 onwards to now, and that's great news. That's great news because remember I'd updated you yesterday that the Premadasa Stadium was wet. There were puddles of water that had formed at various places, and that in a sense was going to hamper the games that were going to come. So for the ground to just be match ready, you needed some good weather, at least for a day, sunshine for at least a day, and that's the good news, that sun is out now. So the last 4 hours we've had sun. Hopefully we have sun for another 4 hours or so, and that will be good enough to dry the Premadasa. Of course, I'll get to see the stadium today and update you from the ground, which had been inundated with water, because 6 p.m. today the Indian team is going to be practicing there. It's going to be an interesting scenario where all 3 teams will be practicing at the same time at the Premadasa Stadium. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and India, all 3 teams will be practicing, and in those practice sessions you will have a scenario where 2 teams, and I think most likely Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, because it's their match next, they'll be practicing in the main ground, and you might see the Indian team practicing in the net area. So that's going to be interesting, but it's a day that the Indian players will be looking forward to, because they haven't had a full practice session together outdoors since the 1st of September. Today it's the 8th, so in 8 days they haven't had a outdoor practice session. I reported yesterday about the indoor practice session, but not all players could go and practice there. Not all things that you wanted to work on could be worked on there because of a few compulsions that you have with indoor practice, which I also updated you why fast bowlers can't practice, why you can't practice wicket keeping, so on and so forth. So all those things are there. But now that the outdoor practice has been planned, that's great news. But for that, clear weather will have to stay. If it starts raining, then that outdoor practice planned for the evening will also get hampered. It's around 12 o'clock now here, so the next 5-6 hours are going to be very crucial for the stadium to dry and for the teams to then get a chance to practice outdoors. Now, what is the Met department saying? It's been clear weather right now, but again, those weather predictions, as I've realized the last few days, sometimes are right, sometimes are wrong. There is no set formula to really predict it accurately to the T 100%. So I'll just tell you what the weather websites are saying at the moment. What they're saying, that today there is about total hours of rain is about 6 hours of rains, but in a 24-hour period today. So it's not rained yet, and it's expected to rain for 6 hours, but that 6 hours can be divided into 2 and 2 and so on and so forth, or maybe 3 and 3 or 2, 2, 2. So whichever way it's going to happen, that will happen towards now the latter half of the day, if the prediction is correct. So 6 hours of rain is predicted today, 6 hours of rain is predicted tomorrow. Once again, 24-hour period. So this could happen at the start of the day, after the match, maybe some hours in the match. That exactly you can't predict. On India-Pakistan day on Sunday, about 9 hours of rain is predicted. That's even a little bit more. So that's not looking very good. But as I said, that 9 hours, maybe the game starts in the afternoon, maybe 3 hours is in the morning, maybe a couple of hours during the match, and maybe 3-4 hours later in the match. But if that prediction is true, then that will also play a role in the match. Again, you might see a shortened match, you might not see a match at all, but we'll only know on the day. So it's very tough to predict exact weather. But I'm just telling you what the website is saying. 6 hours in 24 hours today, 6 hours of rain tomorrow in 24 hours, and 9 hours of rain in 24 hours on Sunday. So that's the weather update, which is not great. But then right now the weather that you're seeing is great. And the other good news is Jasprit Bumrah has joined the squad. the Indian team. He's checked into the team hotel. He checked in last night. So, full strength team will be available for selection. That's another piece of good news. Somebody is asking about KL Rahul, whether he'll play, whether he won't play. So let me tell you, I mean, he should play because not because he's ahead of Ishan Kishan. He needs to play cricket because you want to see him, you want to assess him. You know already what Ishan is doing and he's in good form. You've seen whatever you had to see of him, and so you know what you have with him. It's KL Rahul whose batting, fitness, keeping you have doubt over. So you can only clear those doubts if he plays, and the time is now in whatever little games you get. So I think it should be interesting that he gets a chance to play now. He should be played. How he's played now, if the next game was in India Pakistan, I would have definitely wanted KL Rahul to play. I would have rested Ishan Kishan to just see KL Rahul's fitness. But because it's India Pakistan, you want to put your best foot forward. Ishan had a great outing last time. You want to win that game. It's a pressure game. So maybe if I was picking the team, I wouldn't pick KL Rahul. I'll still go with Ishan Kishan because he's been playing continuous cricket and is in form. So I'll play him. Maybe in the subsequent matches after that, I could rest Ishan and play KL Rahul. Or you can even have the opportunity of, rotating between Shreyas Iyer, Kishan and KL, in the sense that, let's say if Iyer plays 2-3 matches, then some can overlap with Ishan, some can overlap with KL. In that way, all three will get about equal amount of matches, and at best they'll have to be rested for one game per se in Asia Cup. So that's something that the Indian team can look at. That rotation is not a bad idea because you want to gauge the fitness of Shreyas and KL. That is something you can do now, maybe to an extent in the Australia series. From World Cup though, you will have to go with your fixed team, and whoever is your second choice wicketkeeper batter, he has to sit out. But to be 100% sure who your first choice wicketkeeper batter is, I think you need to give both of them a bit of a run. Ishan has already got his run, he's done very well. I think you need to give KL a bit of a run and then assess him based on his batting performance and where he stands. So that is something that they'll look at. Bumrah is back, so he should slot into the Indian team. So that's the news from the Indian team camp. Today when they'll be practicing, I'll bring you more updates. Hopefully practice should happen. Weather update I've already given you. Somebody is asking about pitch. Yes, pitch has been protected with covers for very long. Pitch is ready here, but the outfield was wet in certain areas. It needed sunshine to clear that puddle, and I think you've got sunshine here, so which will allow it to then be slightly better, for those covers to be slightly better. Being optimistic is saying go to the stadium. Of course I will be there. I will be there in the evening when the team is practicing. I will be there. Sharon Venukota asking, don't they have super stoppers? Of course they do. They do have super stoppers, but that also has limitations, right? The amount of rain that has been falling, but they do have all these latest techniques, so they will use that. But when the rain happens, then also the other good thing that Sri Lanka has, they cover the entire ground with covers, so that also ensures that not too much rain goes inside the ground. But last time also they had covered it for the last week, even though there were matches not happening here. But because of so much of rain, I believe water is seeped in through the covers also, which is why you will take time for it to be cleared. Somebody is asking about reserve day. Yeah, that's correct. There was still contrasting reporting about reserve day. I even checked with the Indian team management. Even they don't have an idea. There's no clarity. But then I spoke to a few people at the Asian Cricket Council. There is no reserve day as such, and there cannot be because of the scheduling of the tournament. As you've seen, there is no gap. Let's say Sri Lanka, Bangladesh are playing tomorrow. There is no gap to have a reserve day, and you can't have a reserve day just for India, Pakistan, and not for other matches. So you'll have to have a set rule. So there will be no reserve day, I think, for Super 4s. At best you can have a reserve day for the final. That is something that they can do. Somebody was asking about Pakistan's practice. I don't think Pakistan is practicing today. They're not practicing. They just travelled. They came here yesterday. I put up those shots on Sports Today, exclusive shots of Pakistan team reaching here. They've had a hectic travel. They reached at 6 p.m. yesterday. They've also just played a match. So today I think they will be resting. No practice for Pakistan. Maybe they'll practice. Of course they will practice a day before the game, provided you get good weather. That's also interesting. Weather, a lot of people are asking me about the weather, but I've updated you about the weather as much as I know. I'm also looking at the Met Department reports and all of that, so not 100% sure of what will happen to the weather. Okay, somebody asked if what happens if if all matches of Super 4s are rained out, what will happen to the final and so on and so forth. Well, it's simple. Pakistan will qualify. Let's say all Super 4 matches are washed out. Pakistan will qualify for the final because one Super 4 matches happened and they won that. So they go top of the table, they qualify. Bangladesh will be out because they've lost that one game, so their net run rate will be the worst, so they'll be out. So there will be a close contest between India and Sri Lanka, tied on points 0-0 and net run rate. Who goes to the final? That's an interesting one. No confirmation yet, but I'm just going by my past experience. Two things can happen in that scenario. One, you could simply do a coin toss. It can be as simple as that and then decide who goes through. Or the other option could be looking at the points that they got in the league stages. Sometimes that is taken into account, and on that count Sri Lanka got more points because if I'm not mistaken, Sri Lanka won both their matches in the league stage. They beat Bangladesh and then they beat Afghanistan, so they got 4 points. India got 3 points because India-Pakistan was washed out, India beat Nepal. So if that is taken into account, Sri Lanka has more points, then Sri Lanka can go to the final. But this is all conjecture, right? This is if no matches happen in Super 4 because of rain. But at the moment, so there is good news. Somebody is asking when will there be Vic-Nick. Vic-Nick will be there from tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, Vikrant should be here. So we'll try and do Vic-Nick from tomorrow onwards. Okay, Nexus is asking, did you miss Surya in the Pakistan match? Yeah, the opinion on Surya is very divided. I'm a huge fan, you know that, and I've often said that he should be part of the ODI team. It's only a matter of time before he comes good. But in that Pakistan game, I think India did what. How would you have played Surya in place of whom? So it wasn't. I think India is going with their best 11. Surya will have to wait for his chance. But hopefully, if he does get a chance, who knows? He can play those knocks that can just completely turn the game around. But credit to even Hardik and Ishan, right? I think they put India in a very good position. So India did turn around from where they were, and that's a big positive. Somebody is saying, Sarat Chandra is saying, why don't you tell Rohit to go with 3 fast bowlers? Yeah, Rohit is not going to listen to me. He's a very good guy. Whenever I meet him, he has time to chat. So, but that chat is, sometimes it's about cricket, sometimes it's about other things. But I can't be advising the Indian captain what to do. I share my opinion here on the platform. At the end of the day, it's left to the coach and the captain to do what they think in their knowledge is the best. And I think we all need to respect that. Yeah, personally, if you ask me, if I were captain, I've never captained at international level, only at my school and college level. But if I was there, if I had 3 very good fast bowlers, wicket-taking bowlers, I would play them. I wouldn't worry about the batting. I would want my top 7 batters to do the job. Because again, if you play with your best bowling, you will always have those many less runs to chase. So why should I just look at a fixed stopgap sort of an arrangement where thodi batting bhi mil jayegi, thodi bowling bhi? That for me never works. 3 best fast bowlers would play, 2 best spinners in Jadeja and Kuldeep will play, and 3 in Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, they play. I go with my best bowling attack and I say, dismiss them cheaply, those many runs less for our batters to get, and we'll cover up with our batting. I would take that approach, but again, as I said, there is no one size fits all sort of an approach, and maybe the Indian team also has merit in what they're thinking, where they think that okay, Hardik will do majority of the bowling anyway, Shardul can chip in if one of them is having a bad day, and in which case Shardul gives batting, so let's go with that. That's their approach. So tomorrow's game will depend on the weather, sir. So I've already given you the weather update. About KL Rahul, somebody is asking. I've already updated you about that. What I think, that I still feel Ishan should play that match. KL also should play, but maybe not from Park game onwards. Maybe from after that. Somebody is saying English nahi aati. I think Raza is saying that. But Raza, this is an English channel, so I have to speak in English. I've done an Hindi update also. So if you want to check that out, go to Sports Tak and just check that out. So I've done it in both languages. You got to understand that there are people. Just as you do not know English, there are people who do not know Hindi also, and there are a lot of people in India like that, right? Where Hindi is not a language they know. Their mother tongue is their first language, and some of them then know English. So you got to respect everyone. And for those who understand English and do not understand Hindi, maybe they can see this update. If you only know Hindi, check it out. I've done it in Hindi as well. So that's that. On that note, I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for giving me company on this live chat. You guys keep me going. Next up, I'll be live from the ground, from the Premadasa. I will update you about Indian team's practice. Till then, all of you take care, look after yourself, enjoy. If you're in Delhi, enjoy even more, because most roads are shut, I believe, because G20, everyone's working from home. So enjoy that, and hopefully we'll have a good weekend with some cricket. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Take care. Bye bye. Love from Australia. Back to you. Sending you lots of love back, Arjun. Bye.